Hi guys, got a quick video for you to help you alleviate sinus congestion, headaches, migraines, um, just overall tension into the head due to work, stress, environmental toxins. This is going to be effective for all those. What we're really looking for is connection of the insertion and attachment of the other end of the tendon or muscle. That's where the nerve enters and all the signals for um, the muscle to stay in a tense mode to protect, or if it's overstressed and can't drain, there's a blockage there as well. So those are the areas that we want to apply the pressure. So it's not just necessarily in the middle of the trapezius. What we want to do is find the insertions and all the way up where it goes into the back of the head. So if we can find these areas, maybe it is through work, if you're doing a lot of overhead activities, or even desk work, just holding your arms and out in that position typing all day, it can really put some stress and tension on there. So today we would like to start in the temple area. So with 2 fingers or the whole fingers, whatever's necessary. To get more strength, use your hands kind of in a cup position and use fingertips. Your fingertips, energy comes out of. So when you're applying your fingers to an area, what you're doing is you're connecting a circuit. So the chi energy, the life force energy coming down and out of your arm is now grounding into your head, which is just fine. This is what we want to do, is connect the circuitry. So if I'm to get out some tension down my right deltoid that is going down into my wrist and affecting my finger and thumb because I've been doing a lot of painting, especially lately, then I want to trace that all the way back up and up into here, the top of the jaw, is where I'm going to get a lot of connection into the thumb and jaw. Those are really big ones. So we'll start in the temple today. By going around from the ear toward the eyes. So you're stretching the tissue away from that, essentially that hole in the bone that the ear and all of the ear canal goes out of. So you find the edge of that, and you're going to find a little depression there. There's a bone here, the skull bone, where the jaw goes under. So that bone just above that, if you press in there, you're going to feel the tendon insertion. And what will happen is there'll be a bit of pain in the face and jaw. And if you allow that jaw to relax and release, and as soon as it gets painful, the idea is to take a breath to ground that circuitry that you've just connected. So by belly breathing and blowing out, what we are doing is we're inviting this tension, this band, to start grounding through the rest of my body and down out the right leg. I can feel it in my calf moving now. And the jaw will get a little more mobile. So if it's the right side, target that. If it's the left side, target the left side. So from here, where I want to go now is I want to trace it, and I'm going to find the sternomastoid right here. This muscle is very important as well. That holds our head up and twists it. So I'm going to connect the 2 points from my jaw into the sternomastoid to start drawing this tension point down past my ear canal here. And what that will do, it will release and allow fluids to drain and pressure to drain from the inner ear. So those low pressure systems, the weather when it comes in, this is extremely effective. You may make yourself cough. There is a nerve point there that attaches into the throat. So you are working on nerve bundles and ganglia. So it's as much pressure as you can comfortably tolerate and still breathe through. I can apply a lot of pressure on myself. I've been doing it many years. For yourself, these points might be painful just to touch. And if that is the case, that's fine. We may be swollen. We may be fighting an infection. So in that case, we want to use fingers and gently pull. We're stretching the tissue by gently pulling. And what that does is that rolling pins out the old, which is the fluids containing the toxins, the lactic acids, the stickiness of the lymphatic fluids that have gone in to heal. So all of that we want to wring out so we can get fresh new blood and nutrients into the area. And that's what it is to open up the muscles. It's not just about massaging them until they feel better. It's about addressing why they're tight and then reprogramming with your own breath the muscle group into one of submission. And when we submit to the pain and allow it to ground and run through us and out of us, we are no longer holding on to it. So it's not ours anymore. Next time it accumulates, it'll be easier to remove from the body. Pardon me, I pushed on that point pretty hard. So that's the cough reflex. And what will happen is I will find it in my deltoid now. And the best way to find the points of tension is to go over the striations of muscles. So they're running downward and attaching into the humerus bone up here. So I want to go across these fibers to find the worst one. And that little pop right there, you can tell I've got a band of tension in the deltoid itself. And it's very tender because this one is actually attached up into the neck, and I have lymphatic as well. I'm pressuring that goes under there, the nerves. So this is a nerve bundle in there, and this is actually pretty painful. But I'm going to keep the pressure here and relax my right hand, and if you can, I'll have it face up, laying on my knee in my lap, so my right arm is completely relaxed. And when I've got that nerve bundle and I feel it coming down the arm and wanting to go, I want to facilitate that by visualizing the pathway that the current is taking. So best way to do that is to close the eyes. Draw the energy in with the in-breath into the gut, and then releasing the energy with the out-breath and visualizing it running down and out the right hand. And as you feel that flow, the next point of pressure or tension that you experience down the line from that deltoid point, for myself, I'm feeling it on the top of the wrist. Right here, I'm feeling it quite a bit. So I know that's my next point of blockage. And that's before the fingers, so I still feel tension in my fingers. So in order to get the tension out of the fingers, I need to address the top of the wrist here. Most effective way for me to work on the top of my hands is by actually sitting on my hands. So say this is my butt here, the two gluteus muscles. I'm going to use my right butt cheek to sit right on that point. And you can see how there's a space here, right? So if I sit here, it is going to flatten that wrist out and in essence stretch it by pulling it. And this is a compression stretch. Compression stretches are extremely beneficial in targeting the nerve bundles and getting the nerve release, and that will release the endorphins. Once the nervous system opens up and gets free access to the muscle, the signal goes to the brain that says, I need to recoup now. Now I have access, let's get healing nutrient in there. You'll produce growth hormone, you'll produce immunogrowth factors that will aid and recover the muscles. And you can, through this work alone, really contact your own body and put your mind into your muscles, and your muscles will respond to your consciousness, not just physical work. And while you do physical work, you can consciously put energy into the muscles so your work becomes a workout. Myself, I love lifting weights, but I don't do it. I don't have time. I make my exercise, my daily routines, my workout, my exercise. So back to the jaw point here. I want to get it out of the wrist and into the thumb because I still can feel it in my face here. And it's even coming into sinuses, and that's where we're getting to because I've been pushing on these points. and released it, the energy is really wanting to move. So when you get half open, you're going to really notice where it's still blocked. So I really feel it in the sinus right here, just below the ocular bone. There's a point right there that I can really feel that needs to connect and then come down into the chest. So we'll get to that right after the wrist. So I'm going to sit on my hand and try my best to relax all my arm muscles all the way up. I'm trying to make it nice and loose. And you do need a hard surface. I recommend doing that in the bathtub, trying that. And even with your hip bones, to roll so your hip is on that wrist there, if you do a lot of physical work especially. Other techniques are to have it on a desk or something flat, and then with the other arm leaning the forearm on and pressuring down on top. So if I have my knee up here, I'm going to put my elbow on top of all of those tendons coming across. I'm going to get the kind of bone right across those, and I want to get even pressure all along them. And then I'll breathe. And as I breathe, you'll notice my fingers just start to relax and my arm starts to let go. And you'll find, okay, I feel something hard in there. It feels like a bone that's tight. It will gradually get a little more painful. That's as it opens up and we get nerve function back into it. So there we go. Now I can feel it coming into the index. That's what I want, and the thumb. So now I know I can ground the energy through my wrist. It's getting all clicky and shifty, and that's great. Cracking your knuckles, cracking your joints will not give you arthritis. There we go, nice and loose, and then I flick that out. Get the thumb too, that's a hard one to crack. I'm well practiced, of course. So I can shake that out, and now I know this end of the hose is wide open. So now when I do work in my head, it will actually move out of my body. Typical practice for treating areas is, okay, you have sinus tension, let's work that really hard. Okay, it feels better, you go home. But all we did was displaced it from the area. We didn't remove it from the body or ground it. So it just resettles. And if you don't address the mental processes that are telling you to hold tension that way, because it's just to hold on to anger at all of your coworkers for some reason, because they're not doing as much as you're doing, and it drives you nuts. So you're stressed out all the time. So if we don't address those ideas and thought processes that contribute to the stress, then we can move the energy, but you're going to put it right back again. We have to fill that area with new loving energy. So it's really self-love, guys. Self-work, taking care of your temple, that's loving it. And when you take care of your temple and say you are worthy to be loved, guess who comes in? The higher aspects of you, your higher self, will enter that temple and say, well done, thank you. You may rest now. You've done well. So that's what we're after, guys. It's peace within, and acknowledging the tensions in our body and what they're connected to give us the playbook on how to create our own miracles, which is living the life you wanted, which is having the peace you always dreamed of. Those are miracles that you can create and attain. It's a miracle that I'm able to do the physical things I'm able to do after suffering such a catastrophic breakdown of the body through an injury. So my rehabilitation has been my healing. I deprived myself of self-love. So in having a broken body, I found the only way I could actually regrow it was to give it new substance to grow out of, not to keep beating it up and taking from it. It was to give it love, give it time, give it attention, give it healthy food, give it moments of rest, give it exercise, So in these ways, we may bring our bodies with us as we spiritually mature and ascend. Okay, so back to the sinus. So sinus, great points are right in here. So you will find that where this bone, this ocular bone, comes and joins in the nose, if you go just below it, there's going to be a pressure point there, and it does hurt. So if you have sinus issues, starting there with fingers or two, get your fingers in there, do a little bit of circular motions. When you have that going, get the pressure on it, and then you're pushing in toward the skull. And again, breathe. You may have to do it through your mouth if you're stuffed right up. And it's the out breath that you'll feel the energy move. The in-breath is the acceptance of the tension being there. The out-breath is the release, the admission that it doesn't belong, and it's free to go. So as those muscles release, the jaw is getting looser, and I'm going to pull and stretch. I'm maintaining pressure after the release, and I'm stretching it out of the tissue back to the cheek insertions under the jaw here. And you may want to move jaw around. And there we go. I got the sinuses open. They're really stretched. So I'm going to facilitate more opening by really breathing in through the nose. Pushing jaw forward, letting it out. Good. And a way to really ground out the tensions and nervous energy from the gut is to, on the out breath, make some noise. And the lower the tone, the lower you're going to stimulate those lower chakras to release the energy and let it come up. So this is also how we deal with emotions. A lot of times when we work on things, it's going to connect down our circuitry into our guts, into our memories. And we will literally trigger our memories and trigger release. This is what self-work is all about. So I can feel fluids coming down now, the lymphatic, and they're draining. I can breathe easily through my nose. So now the next step is to allow and facilitate that to continue. So under the collarbone here, we have the pectoral muscle and all of these very sensitive points under here. So these are the next areas to go to for the sinus draining. And you can push inward toward the collarbone. So I'm pushing pretty hard. I'm trying to kind of squeeze things against the rib cage of the pectoral muscles. And females, yes, you have all these nerves and glands coming down. So on the side here, be a little careful because those are your glands as well, and you don't want to cause too much pain or anything, or clogging. And if there are clogged ducts, if you're dealing with breastfeeding or new births, or dealing with any kind of tension or pressure there, getting the arm up and around the back of the head there, and just resting nicely, not holding on, trying to keep the arm loose, getting that up there, and then squeezing the hole from the back of the shoulder, so you're going on either side of the armpit, and then you're gently squeezing that. And if you can pinch that and hold that and take some breaths, that will be an excellent drainage and allow new blood and that gland to release and start to be reabsorbed by the lymphatic system. And you'll even find that you can stretch into it. That's another technique, guys, is when you've got a pressure point and you can feel it and it's coming up the neck, I want to facilitate it tapping more. I can gradually stretch my head away. And now I really feel that. I don't want to go too much to make it too painful. I want to be able to be calm and relaxed. There we go. I feel it coming under the scapulae now, because I'm keeping all that pressure on the back now, because it transitioned through. Some of you may want to stay on the front. And you can see how my posture has to adjust to facilitate the release, and crack, crack, pop. There goes the neck. So there's a self-adjustment right there, no chiropractor needed, just by addressing what was pulling, what was holding on to there. And I can feel there's another vertebrae up here that needs to go, but you can even see that tight, how tense that is, that band. That's not necessarily normal, right? That's too tight. So I do have a lot of work to do. So now that I've opened up all of the chi channels and the circulatory system, the nerve system, now I may squeeze and palpate that muscle. Now I can get to the trap and I can squeeze that, ooh, and the energy goes places immediately. In my ring finger, pinky finger, down into my right foot. I can feel that instantaneously. And when I have a squeeze on it like that, if I again stretch away from it, it is stretching the muscle while it's under pressure. Again, with the compression stretches, best way to get the old fluid out. And I'll do a little bit of movement. Okay, so you guys can see how integrated we are. In order to treat just the sinuses, I spend the least amount of time up there. The other points after this opens up will be the inner brow points. So here and here. There's some nerve points right there and there. You can, I really like to use my thumbs and hold on to the head and pulling the eye and following the eyebrows. And then you can push and above the ears and finishing up. So like in a half circle motion, right? And tracing it. And your body will naturally have these arcs of movement in it with your thumb radius, with the way these bands connect and loop up, and your jaw as well. So we are perfectly designed for self-massage, guys. And to do it to others is a great honor, to allow someone's body to be touched, and the trust and the love there. So when you're doing these things to yourself, have a positive attitude, have a loving attitude, and accepting one of your own body and the bodies that you're working on. If we're just trying to get the pain out, we're never acknowledging why it was there. So we can't grow from it, and it will return as our teacher over and over again. And we can only blame the teacher so long until we realize, oh, it's my duty to pass and never come back. So, good luck with your self-massage and self-work. If you have any questions, you Patreoners, please do ask them on the forum. And yes, I will look forward to providing more videos on different parts of the body. The sciatic is a major one, IT bands. We're going to address the major issues of the physiology of our human bodies. Yeah, I look forward to more. Yep, be gentle, breathe deeply, and make it an experience. I really recommend doing it in the bathtub with hot water with Epsom salts. And that way you can get your feet up, you can lay flat on your back. It's really easy to relax in the tub. So good luck, guys. Take care. Bye.